Hey everybody, it's Captain Trucker. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you all. So I have an announcement today, folks. I have to leave the Philippines again. Yes, it's true. I'm leaving again. And I just got here a matter of weeks ago. The reason why is, well, I've got to keep working. We're at sort of this period of time in history, especially in trucking culture, and this time in my life to where it's that point to where we have to earn and stack and invest certain amounts of cash and compound things so we can kind of make it off to the future. Because I plan on living a long time. Some of my relatives are in their 90s up to 100, so 40s are a really important time to invest, stack, and save. Yeah. But anyway, I've just kind of been reflecting a little bit, as I sometimes do, on this social media journey. And I don't say it enough, but I'm very grateful for the loyal supporters of people that watch this channel, all the silent viewers, people you don't hear from, but I know they're there, and I really appreciate them. I really do. This year, I think not recently, but earlier this year, when I was in the U.S. for about 6 months, I was kind of coasting because I've been doing this channel about 3 years now, 2-3 years, and I never really had social media until I was like in my early 40s. And it's kind of been like an adjustment for me to be able to do this, And this isn't even like really a big channel, but I feel the sort of collective energy of the the audience and people that watch in this Philippines vlogging community. I feel it, and it's distinct, and I like it and everything. I really do, but sometimes I think it can be mentally maybe exhausting. And so I think this year for about 6 months I kind of was on this plateau vibe where I couldn't just totally. I had to invest my mental energy elsewhere. But anyway, my point is that I'm grateful for the people that stay with the channel and everything. Because, this is a real channel. This channel is very personal to me. It's very intimate. And it came at a time in my life where I was so isolated from trucking that I kind of wanted this social outlet to talk to people and to sort of get my thoughts out there and, communicate and go back and forth with people. And I'm very grateful that we've been able to do that. And I'm also very grateful for we have a fairly large Philippine audience and people in the U.S. that watch in different parts of the world. And, they've kind of been with me through these sort of ups and downs because I don't know if cynical is the right word, but I think a lot of people that do, YouTube and stuff, most creators burn out within like a year, they say, or like 6 months to a year, they plateau or they stop making videos, something like that. But there's very few that go on for years and years and years, and I myself want to keep going. I want to keep doing this. And I think to do that, you just have to be authentic and you have to be real. And it's like, there's going to be phases in my life to where, sometimes it's enthusiastic, and then other times, you can be cynical or jaded, and that kind of happens, especially in this social media stratosphere. But I always kind of go back to the beginning. I go back and remember why I started the channel, why I want to keep doing it. And I think that's what continues me doing it. But anyway, yeah, recent months have been a lot of fun, man, since being back in the Philippines. We did a lot of updates on the house build and this ongoing saga building this house, man. It's been... I keep saying it's almost done, but it really is almost done. In fact, right now they're just finishing the wall, because the house is going to have like a wall, and I think just some electrical stuff and paint, and that's about it. I think the ceiling was repaired or fixed or whatever needed to be done. And so anyway, the ongoing housing saga, we did a lot of videos on that. That was fun. I was in Sugar Beach recently. one of my favorite spots down in Sapale. That was cool too. And it's just been fun, being at the house, hanging out with my son. And I haven't had my son on too many videos, but he's been on some, and it's been fun. And I'm glad to do it. I try not to overexpose those parts of one's intimate life too much on social media, but I think occasionally it's appropriate when it's done with the right kind of feeling and temperament, But I like vlogging, man, and yeah, like I said, YouTube is a weird, interesting world and experience, and I had to do this thing for intimate sort of reasons. Otherwise, I think I would have probably just stopped, right? Because, the truth is, like a lot of vloggers, even substantial ones, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers and more, they don't exactly always make a lot of money. So, and the ones that do, good for them. That's good. It's hard to do. But I'm proud of this channel. I'm proud of the community that we formed here. And, this channel, I'm not saying this to try to sound special or unique, but I really do think this channel is special and unique for the fact that there's American truck drivers, obviously, that I would imagine they're in the Philippines. There's got to be some of them, but there's very few, if any, that have made, YouTube channels to kind of talk about this cross-cultural stuff, life as a working class American navigating between two worlds as a truck driver, as a father in the Philippines, and going back and forth and all that. And I think it's important because there's a lot of people that are in this situation and they just don't talk about it. And so I am proud of this channel for that. And we've kind of, we've done a lot of comparing cultures and cultural nuances, stuff like that, more than just surface level how to, move to the Philippines because it's cheap to live, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. We've kind of gotten into some heavy duty stuff on this channel over the years, over the months, and I'm proud of that. I'm grateful for the people that, contribute to the conversation, because if it was just me talking to myself, it wouldn't be much of a channel, right? But that's how this channel started out. It really was like me in the truck, like a man talking to himself, because there was nobody watching, right? But back to my plan to go back to work, what I was saying is we're at a time in history in the trucking industry where, not now, but in the future, maybe in like 5-10 years, the trucking industry will change. It is slowly changing with autonomy and autonomous trucks and stuff like that, and logistics. It's not going to be some sweeping takeover of jobs like kind of maybe the media and some tech companies were trying to promote for a long time. A lot of that was just fear-mongering, possibly to raise money and stuff like that. But there will be some effects on the trucking industry and jobs and stuff like that. But more, I think, drivers will be becoming more like airplane pilots, more supervisor type of roles. They're going to be kind of managing the trucks, and I think the job will change a little bit, but there's going to be a lot of human oversight, in the near future and in the trucking industry for a long time, I believe. But the job could evolve and it could change. There's certain aspects of freight, like certain hazmat stuff, I think will maybe always require a human in the truck type of thing. But the reason I'm saying that is because I still like driving, I still like driving across the country and driving 3,000 miles every week. And it's challenging, it's fun, and you can make money at it if you save your money and invest it properly. The tragedy with like working class truckers is to see them get caught up in consumer culture. It really is, because these guys work harder than anybody and they spend their money. Not just them, but people of all, classes, whatever. Corporate culture, lower class, middle class, higher class. People spend money, they waste money, and it's sort of part of our American culture in a way. And that's the tragedy, because I've always talked about geo arbitrage and like, the currency, that the dollar's still powerful, man. Even if you're just have like a small income, you can still save and get ahead in this world if you invest it properly. And it's kind of a message that I've tried to talk about a lot on this channel. And I would like to see more truck drivers get ahead, for sure. But the reason I'm saying that is, I have a sort of a midterm plan to where I really, really got to work hard, man, the next 7 years, 10 years, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to drive forever or if I would even want to drive forever, right? And I think, one of the problems with the modern expat, maybe before this digital age that we've been in, and I think there's going to be a different type of expat in the future, is not so much the money, but people just come in here for the wrong reasons, right? People come in here simply to save money or because it's like a cheap place to live. And some of those mentalities and some of those promotions, I think historically, it has led toward problematic foreigners in the Philippines, but I think some of that will change in the future. And it's just an important conversation. But there's always groups of expats. There's always a whole population of them, so you can't really put them all in the same category either. And there's really well-off expats here too, but you don't hear about them that much. But I think more often than not, historically, people have come here on limited income or limited passive income, limited net worth, and stuff like that. And you can make it happen. You can live here on, your $1,500 a month, Social Security or whatever it may be. It is possible. But like with life, stuff comes up, emergencies, hospitals, just expenses, whatever. And people can run into trouble out here if they came here on a limited budget just to save money. And the alcoholism factor is a pretty serious thing, in my opinion, with a lot of foreigners. Man, I'm only in my early 40s, but if I even have a few drinks now, I mean, it just mentally, like cognitive-wise, it suppresses you, man. And the combination of alcohol and low income and poverty and all that, especially middle upper age, retirement years, I think it's a disaster. It's like just a recipe for disaster. And so hopefully we're going to see changes in the future. Hopefully we'll be more responsible as expats, as foreigners in this country, take better care of our health, come here better prepared. And I think we will. I think that there's going to be a more positive change in the future that will benefit the relationship, between foreigner and the Filipinos, people better assimilated, and so it's more of a mutually beneficial relationship. That's how I see the future. But who knows, right? And I still believe if more Americans traveled more and experienced expatriate life, it would probably make American culture a better place as well. Strangely, a lot of Americans don't even have their passports and stuff like that. And traditionally, a lot of Americans haven't traveled. And what's ironic about the trucking industry and being a professional driver is that they work in logistics, right? And they, for instance, are in a perfect position to be expats, to drive for part of the year, embrace minimalism, and then go travel abroad, right? Because truckers are the most minimalistic people out there, and yet a lot of them get caught up in debt, or they buy or rent a house or something, or they buy cars and stuff like that, and it kind of boggles the mind, right? Because they're never home. But again, that's just stuff that's deeply programmed in American consumer culture. The cars always represent freedom and masculinity and stuff like that, but it's turned into this financial trap and even a death trap for some, right? Because automobiles and car accidents and stuff like that has been very dangerous, not just in America, but all over the world. That's true. So truckers are in a very unique position, man. We can take over this industry. We should be the ones dictating this industry, right? And dictating the future of this industry, because we're still the ones in the driver's seat. And make no mistake, even with autonomous trucks and stuff like that, you guys play a significant role in the transformation in the future of this industry. So let's not forget who we are and the value that we bring. I have a lot of work cut out ahead of me, folks. I'm driving in the coldest months of winter, so I'll take you with me on this journey. And once again, I wanted to sincerely thank all the people who watch the channel, the silent viewers, the people who have been here since the beginning, the new subscribers. Sometimes we have ups and downs on this channel, but you're going to get a real channel here. And so I'm grateful for everybody who's stuck around through my highs and lows, my good moods, my bad moods, and we've had very candid conversations here. Sometimes things get colorful, but this is what it is. This is life. This is a real life channel, man. And I appreciate you all coming with me on this journey. So we're going to hit the road now, and we're going to fly out of the Philippines soon, and we will be back in the truck, but we'll also be back in the Philippines again soon too. So this is life. Buckle your seatbelts, folks. That's Captain Trucker. Share your comments, and please subscribe if you watch the channel. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.